I mean, could there even be a bigger hypocrite in this world than Prince Harry? I've wondered about this question after I saw him fly 5,000 miles from his California McMansion to go to a preliminary procedural court hearing that he did not even need to go to. He was pointlessly using up so much of this carbon footprint that he's always going on about, always telling us to avoid stamping on the environment. And what, pray tell, is this case even about? Oh, well, of course, it's about Harry's favorite topic, privacy. I mean, with no ounce of self awareness, the man who has spent the past few years invading the privacy of his own family and his friends, and even random people he lost his virginity to, has now decided that he is the poster boy for privacy. I guess this is just a part of their worldwide privacy tour. Harry has decided to declare war on the British press, which he hates with a passion. And this is the same British press which for so many years promoted Harry as the most popular, cheeky, fun-loving young royal, and devoted so much coverage to things like Harry's courageous military service and also the Invictus Games. And this is the same British press who protected Harry from himself by not publishing some damaging stories about him. They didn't talk about his illegal drug use, and this is also the same British press that welcomed his marriage to Meghan Markle. I mean, they considered her to be a breath of fresh air, and they reported on their engagement and the lavish taxpayer-funded wedding in a universally happy manner. But I guess none of that was important, none of that was acknowledged by the petulant brat. Instead, Harry's eye-popping rage at even the mildest criticism of him or Meghan knows no bounds, and once they started doing two-faced things like preaching about carbon footprints but at the same time using Elton John's private plane like it's a taxi service, or Meghan having a $500,000 baby shower party in New York on the same day that they were putting out tweets about poverty, and the media started noticing how tone-deaf their behavior was, well, that's when everything started to fall apart. 2 years ago, Meghan and Harry quit their royal duties. They ran away from the UK and they relocated to California. They wanted to live a life of Hollywood-style luxury, and there they have fleeced their royal titles for hundreds of millions of dollars. And how exactly have they been funding this extravagant new lifestyle they're living? Well, of course, by invading privacy. Their privacy, the privacy of their families, and the privacy of their friends. In fact, they've invaded the privacy of basically anyone they have ever crossed paths with. It all started with that debacle of an interview they did with Oprah, and then they did it again in a six-part Netflix docu-series, and then of course there was Meghan's podcast series. They have given speeches, they've given TV media tours, live-streamed therapy sessions, and also of course Harry's tell-all book. No stone has been left unturned when it comes to privacy, as Meghan and Harry are flogging their most private secrets to the highest bidder. Absolutely nothing is off limits. Harry has told us all about his sexual exploits, we learned about his expansive drug abuse problem, and we even learned about his frostbitten penis. Harry wrote about very private conversations with his own father and brother at his grandfather's funeral, and he also published some private text messages from the Princess of Wales, Catherine. And all of this is the kind of very personal stuff that if a tabloid newspaper had revealed it, Harry would have lost his mind. He would have ordered his lawyers to sue. But now Harry's going back to the UK, not to beg for forgiveness from the family he has betrayed. I mean, I think they're so appalled by him they don't even want to talk to him, let alone see him. But instead, he decided to parade around as the new Prince of Privacy. Again, this is all just a part of their worldwide privacy tour. If I didn't know better, I would assume this is parody. Harry is also doing what he knows best, which is playing the victim. He loves to play this poor, poor, pitiful me card. He's permanently traumatized. Harry really believes that he is the most oppressed and put upon human being who ever lived, which may come as quite a shock to the many millions of people who are actually oppressed, or so impoverished that they cannot even feed their children. But then just look at how Harry walked into the High Court this week with such a self-satisfied smirk on that face. Not a good look for a supposed victim, in my opinion. And then I understood that now Harry has completely lost the plot. Nobody who has any sense whatsoever would go to court demanding privacy and whining about intrusion when they have literally become the biggest self-invader of privacy and intruder into other people's privacy in royal history. Pretty ironic, too, that this media hating idiot decided to march in through the front door. He didn't want to use the side entrance that was used by the other famous complainants, and he did that just so that he could be center stage for all the media who were gathered around. He knew that then he could see his face splashed all over the papers. It really is sad what has happened to Harry. Apparently, he has become so self obsessed that he cannot even see the reality of things. He believes the British public, many of whom are just reeling from the worst cost of living crisis in memory, are going to be cheering him on as he's fighting for his right to privacy. I mean, how out of touch is he? Because of course they're not going to be doing that. They're just going to be shaking their heads saying, what in the world happened to him? I mean, they're going to be disgusted at the double standards of this spoiled, entitled, multimillionaire prince who sells privacy for a living, but at the same time whining about other people invading his privacy. Now sure, Harry has every right to despise the British press, but still, he has to look at his own behavior. See, I think that Harry's real problem is that he cannot control the British press. And one of the best things about the UK and the US too is freedom of speech, freedom of the press. And of course, it's not perfect, but there is nowhere else in the world that can boast such a vast array of disparate, vibrant, strident national newspapers that inform, entertain, and also often hold wealthy, powerful people to account. So, as this mess of a human being continues attacking the royal family and the monarchy as a whole, I think it's a very lucky thing indeed that the British press is there to stand up to him and his awful bullying behavior. And Harry came when his father was on a visit abroad, his first state visit overseas. He'll do anything to detract attention from the king and queen, won't he? Prince Harry and Meghan are a couple of vindictive brats. They are so awful. And to understand why Harry and Meghan do what they do, well, you really only need to look at what other members of the family are doing at that point in time. Clearly, Meghan and Harry are always just trying to make a grab for headlines. And what is Harry going to do when he finally runs out of material? It's going to happen soon because he's being shunned and nobody wants to talk to him candidly, knowing that it's probably going to be recorded so that he can sell it in the future. I mean, you can only play the victim card so many times. Basically, everybody at this point has already turned off. Most people wish that Harry and Meghan would finally fade into obscurity because that's exactly where they belong. This monster has really robbed everyone. Harry should be in jail, but instead he's going to hide behind the fact that he's a prince. The fact is, the prince title cannot really be taken away, even though it probably should be. Harry has betrayed the people of the UK so badly, the least he deserves is to be exiled. I mean, he is all that could possibly be rotten in any person. He is such a dangerous individual. Long live the king. And you, what do you think about Harry and Meghan? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments section. If you think my video is interesting, remember to like and share it with